Hi, I'm Carcino.
Oh, let's talk about it. Let's talk about it.
No one knows Carcino and none of these.
There's so much going on in the world, and I'm just giving my 2 cents on it.
Go in and do a raid at someone's house, but you don't have an arrest warrant for them.
What's good? What's good? What's good? What's good? Yes, now let's get to the get to. Let's talk about what needs to be talked about, ladies and gentlemen. Y'all look so nice. Do y'all agree? Austin Reeves decided to fire back at Draymond's disrespectful comments when he appeared on, what was that, the Clutch Sports thing that they did, Clutch Points, and talked about Austin Rivers. Here's a guy that never played with Austin Rivers, but seemed to have a lot to say about Austin Rivers. And the comments he made were ridiculous. And this isn't the first time he keeps making these comments about, I don't even understand why Draymond would go there. It's just so bizarre to me. He felt Austin Rivers' comments were out of line despite many people believing it on social media. All the things that's been going on. It's really crazy. Because Draymond's only doing this, y'all. All this back and forth with Austin Rivers is only because Bronny James is on the Lakers and saying, oh, y'all talk about nepotism. Look at Austin Rivers. Nobody liked Austin Rivers. He was only successful because his daddy was on the Clippers, and it was okay because Doc Rivers had. So to justify Bronny James, they want to tear down Austin Rivers. This the goofy shit I be talking about, y'all. The absolute goofy shit I be talking about. Now, let's talk about this. But the fireworks are taking place. That's how everybody was looking at it. Austin Rivers played 11 years in the NBA. And, you took a jab at his career on your podcast to do your show. And what Austin Rivers just said, look, I'm trying to be fair with context to this, but it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. And what's shocking is because Draymond has such a basketball high IQ, it's a big part of his game of how smart of a basketball player he is. So it bewilders me that he even thinks like this, because if it's like Draymond and them are taking a chance on you and playing you, and Steve putting you at the forefront of the offense and making you the point forward and kind of let you allow to have the voice and the freedom to have your spasms and going off in temper tantrums, or if he loses it, or to be the emotional leader of the team. Steve let him be who he wanted to be or who he was. So Austin Rivers is speaking truth to the situation, because this all stems from Draymond and his Steve Kerr debacle. Man, Steve Kerr kind of hindered my career because I didn't get a play call for me once we got Kevin Durant. Why the hell will I be you Kevin Durant, why the hell would I be making a play for Draymond Green if I got Kevin Durant, Clay, and Steph? But this is what he's saying. So to hear he was hindered, that's what Austin Rivers is saying. Draymond has never been the best offensive scorer or juggernaut. He's left open 80% of the game. No one really guards him. And because he's such a high IQ player, he's been able to take that and be a free screener for Steph, Clay, or Kevin Durant. He does the things defensively to dominate. I don't know what way he was hindered. And why would they even draw plays for you to score? You never was a scorer. In fact, the teams that have loved it, if you were shooting. I'd much rather have you shooting than Steph not shooting, or Clay or Kevin Durant. It's just ridiculous. I don't even know where he got this from. If Draymond was on another team, the NBA, I don't know what his career would have looked like. He wouldn't be a Hall of Famer. No. And that's not a slight at Draymond because he is a Hall of Fame. He's in the Hall of Fame, he believes, but he says, so it's like the fact the guy that helped you get there is the guy you're saying hindered you. I don't understand the point. I love Dre. I love his competitive. I love everything about Dre. We got drafted in the same class. He's too smart of a basketball player to genuinely think this. There's no way he's just too good and too smart of a basketball player. He said, I'm confused on what he wants drawn up for him. Maybe he wants to play drawn up for him to make a play because he can do that. He's the 1 point forward of all time, but I don't think he knows what he said when he meant that. I think it's like weird to him, and Steven and all the rest of those guys really embrace Dre, and the whole experience of Draymond and let him be who he wanted to be, even though he's never been the first option. Think about this, the second option, third option, fourth option. When you talk about the leader of the team, he's been number one option to allow that. And let that be the thing to fester and grow. You had to give Steve credit for that. And it worked. They got 4 rings out of it. So it's just weird. I don't know. That's a weird comment to hear because Draymond is such a high IQ person. So when he said that, Draymond's like, I don't like to get in these back and forths because speaking of Austin Rivers, I saw what he said and he's bewildered and it's ridiculous of what I said. And I just find it interesting that a guy who was the 10th pick in the draft, I was 35th, who's on his second act, still on act 1, he goes, Draymond never been a scorer. Austin, you and I averaged the same amount of points in high school. I say high school because that's when you were at your best. And then in college, he was still good. He was very featured at Duke because NBA careers should be receiving the highest. Really? He's like, but he said, what'd he say? NBA careers? But should he really be talking about my NBA career? I'm still with my first team. He was gone from his first team in 2 years. The guy received the biggest bailout in U.S. history prior to President Trump bailing out the airlines. When his dad gave him $42 million, I tell him I had to die. I pray that I give a DJ $200 million or a Deuce $250. I pray that I can do that one day. I love how people just go and take the 15 seconds that they want to take and make it a headline, but I really enjoy watching Austin Reeves be bewildered. So Austin Reeves came like, come on, Draymond, this is ridiculous. Seriously ridiculous. But you know what? I'm going to address it because you crossed the line and you are mad disrespectful for whatever reason. You've been around too long. We both were drafted in the same class. The fact that you don't have the wherewithal to do your due diligence and actually understand I was being highly complimentary of you on the Dan Patrick Show. but it's you. I shouldn't be surprised. You always act irrationally, emotionally, immature, and your anger puts you in a hot water. So here I am having to address a video of you belittling my career. First off, Draymond, we weren't the same players in high school. I don't care about numbers being similar. I did it at a national level, the top level, hence why I got the Naismith Award. And I got pretty much every award you could think of in high school. I was ranked number one. You were ranked, I don't know. So cut it out. Next, college. You actually were a solid. You actually a really good college player. But it's hard to compare because I was there for 6 months, something that you could never do. Talk about one of the featured guys. No, I was the guy. I led my team in scoring. I was first team All ACC Freshman Player of the Year, lottery pick. Stop. Next, NBA. Hey man, you got it, Dre. I mean, listen, I played in the NBA for more than 10 years, more than a decade, but 11 years. But I'm not a Hall of Famer like you, so I give you that credit. All right, you got it. But let's peel back the onion and understand why. Easy, Tiger. Okay? You have a delusion, the non wherewithal, the irony of you saying, I'm the biggest sell bailout in NBA history. Draymond, you're the luckiest basketball player I think I have ever seen, especially in modern day history. Let's talk about that. You were drafted to a franchise with a Hall of Fame front office. Bob Myers, Hall of Fame coach Steve Kerr, the greatest shooter of all time and perhaps top five player, Steph Curry, one of the greatest shooter, top five, Hall of Famer Klay Thompson, the Swiss Army knife himself, the guy who could do a little bit of everything on the floor, Andre Iguodala, another Hall of Famer. I know, keep up. It's a lot of talent. Not to mention one of the most lethal scorers of all time, probably top 10 player of all time, Kevin Durant, the same guy you chased off because of this. Your mouth. You talk too much. And that's not even counting the plethora of talent around those guys. The Sean Livingston's, the Barbosas, the Andrew Wiggins, the Jordan Pooles, who you chased off. Cut it out. Draymond, you're the backpack jump shooter. You're the guy that everyone else leaves open. No one guards you. You are hours and hours and hours of film of you just being left wide open. In fact, anyone can just YouTube or Google or watch Draymond game ever, and he's open all game. There are clips of you getting a rebound and just driving straight down the line to get a wide open layup because everyone's fanning out to the guard, the actual talent on the team. Talk about Steve Kerr handed you your career, bro. Steve Kerr made your career. How dare you coming at me? Are you kidding? I wish I could give my son $200 million if I was a coach. Yo, the NBA doesn't give coaching jobs to guys who may or may not sucker punch one of the players and staffs. You need to fall back. Dre, let's just be frenemies. Woo-wee. Buddy boy. That's a hell of a clap back. Now, here's my response to all of this. My response is this. If you want to say it with your chest. If you really mean it, then mean it. If you don't mean it, then shut the fuck up. And that's how I think people should move ahead. You know, the more and more I see people not doing what they claim they stand by, it blows me out. I'm not surprised. Draymond's doing this because Austin Reeves is the guy that they want to talk about because of Bronny. He's always taking shots behind the scenes. He spoke very complimentary about Draymond Green. But Draymond can't see it as that because he is temper tantrum and he's part of the agenda. He knows how to shut his mouth and be a good boy and follow behind LeBron in clutch sports where they don't do shit for him, but they just use him to do their bidding. And yeah, you're a part investor in tequila with LeBron. That's about it. But no one's checking for you. You have no real friends in the game. They all look at you as a joke. And that's the problem. And it shouldn't be that way. So this is where everything gets crazy. So I'm glad that's now settled. We can all get back to our normal lives. But this is all really about Bronny James. So just keep the focus there. You know what I mean? And I'm out.